There was a point in my life where I realized that I was unhappy. And even taking it a step further, I realized that I didn't laugh. I would smile and lots of people would joke. And I never realized that even some of the funny people that were in my life, I would just kind of chuckle a little bit. It wasn't much. Sometimes it wasn't anything. And I just kind of, did it in my head. And that's a different story. But my first step was realizing that I didn't laugh. And so what I did was I started to bring in things that could potentially make me laugh. I would try to be around people who I knew, I liked being around. They were funny, they joked, they didn't really take life too seriously. I started going back to reading comics. I found videos online for, whether they were comedians that I had liked to listen to. So I also started to include videos of animals because baby animals are so cute, or even just animals doing silly things. I started watching comedians or comedy or little skits that might have made me laugh. And so once I started to bring these in, and I did this on a daily basis, I forced myself to laugh out loud. And I over exaggerated it because, in my eyes, in my mind, I was already thinking that I was laughing and I wasn't. So, in order for just a little bit of laugh to come out, I had to just overemphasize what was actually happening. And it was so uncomfortable. And at first, I did this on just my own, just while I was, reading through these things or watching whatever it was that was trying to make me laugh. And it was so uncomfortable because the laugh was like it was awful. But it's what I needed to get me to pull me out of where I actually was. Once I was able to start doing that, um, I tried to incorporate it when I was around other people, and that was even a little bit worse because I'm used to not laughing in front of people, and then all of a sudden I've got this, laugh that is just coming out of me, and they're looking at me like, "What is that happening?" And it was okay. It was okay. It was just uncomfortable. It's now I can say that just from doing those continuous things over time has been so that I now laugh. My daughter can tell you where I was back then to having to actually start laughing, and now where I'm at, where I'm fun loving, where that comedic side that funny side of me is starting to come out even more. And she just kind of stares at me saying, "Who is this person?" I've asked her, I'm like, "Is this a bad thing?" She's like, "No." She's like, "This is just not normal for you." And I was like, "But this is who I'm trying to be." And so, who you want to try to become is going to feel uncomfortable because you are living in this person that you have lived in for so many years. And you're trying to force yourself into this other person that you are choosing to be. And that is going to take time. It is going to take being out of your comfort zone. But if that's who you really want to be, then just continue it. Continue to take those steps. I've always looked at a comfort zone like a circle. And so if this is your circle, if this is your comfort zone, all you have to do is just get a little bit further. You don't have to have this ginormous comfort of, I am afraid of heights, so I'm going to go and skydive. It doesn't even have to be like that. It could be something as I'm going to walk up to this, the top of the ladder, or something even smaller than that. It is just going a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Because if you really want to be that person, you can do it. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But if it is a comfortable uncomfortableness, then you're on your way. So keep making those choices. those choices of who you want to become, and doing it every day, doing it on a consistent basis, because eventually that comfort zone is going to grow. And you're going to end up looking back and you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe that I was at that spot then. Because look at me now, and be proud of those moments, because you could be an inspiration to somebody else, and they'll look at you and they'll be like, I want to become that person. I want to have those qualities that that person has. I want to laugh like that person laughs.